Writing equations and determining solutions for problems involving volume of rectangular prisms. Number 1, the rectangle shown represents the base of a rectangular prism. Use the ruler provided to measure the dimensions of the rectangle shown to the nearest quarter inch. The height of the prism is 4 inches. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to measure the base times, or here we're going to measure, this is the whole base. The base is going to be of this rectangular prism. All right, so when I measure the right side, it's going to be 1 inch. And when I measure the bottom, it's going to measure 3 1/4 inches. All right, so the formula for the volume of a prism, and this is just the bottom. So really what this shape is going to look like is going to be a 3-dimensional shape. Okay, and it would be the part that we're measuring is going to be the base here. Okay, so the volume formula is volume is equal to the base times the height. Now you'll notice that it has a big B. Okay, and that big B is going to represent the bottom. And so in elementary school, you learned that volume was the length times the width times the height. Well, we're given the height is going to be 4 inches, but the length and the width are going to come from the base. So here it's going to tell us that the length is going to be 3 1/4 inches, and the width is going to be 1 inch. So that's going to be the length and the width of the bottom of that. All right, so we've got to find the area of this entire thing first. So when we multiply 1 times 3 1/4, it's going to just give me 3 1/4, or 3 1/4. All right, so we know now that it's going to be the area of the base is 3 1/4. So then we know that we've got to measure, we know that the height is going to be 4. So let's substitute in volume is equal to 3 1/4 times 4. All right, so what we need to do is we need to look at this and we need to multiply. I'm going to convert it into an improper fraction. So 4 times 3 is 12 plus 1 more is 13. So I have 13/4 times 4 over 1. And when you look at that, you'll see that the 4's cancel out, becoming a 1. So 13 times 1 and 1 times 1 is 13 over 1, which is equal to 13 inches cubed. Number 2, use the rectangle shown to determine the equations for the volume V, the area of the base, big B, or B, and the height of H. Okay, so we call it big B because it's a capital B. All right, so we're looking for what the formula is. And so when you look on your formula chart, your star formula chart, it's going to say volume is equal to the base times the height. All right, so remember that the base is going to have, it's 2-dimensional. It has 2 units of measurement. It has a length and it has a width. All right, so, and then the height is going to be how tall it is. All right, so you have to have 3 dimensions when you're finding volume. Ooh, sorry about that. And so when we look for this, when we are given the base, then we're going to try and use the number of, with the volume, we want the volume divided by the height. So that's when we're trying to find the base. When we're trying to find the height, we're going to divide volume by the base. All right, let's look at number 3. Number 3 says, Corey has a set of cardboard boxes. The table shows the relationship between V, the volume of the box in cubic centimeters, and h, the height of the box in inches. Write an equation to represent the relationship between V for volume and h for height for each box. Okay, so we've identified we've got volume and we've got height. So you're looking for that relationship. So how are we going from here to here? So volume to height. And that relationship can go both ways. It can go from 8 to 80 as well. Or in this case, it does say between volume to height. So I'm looking at that relationship from 80 to 8 and 110 to 11 or 150 to 15. All right, so the first thing you're going to say is you're going to look at it and you're going to say, is this going to be, how do I go from 80 to 8? Well, you're dividing it by 10. 110 divided by 10 will give you 11. So we know that it's a dividing by 10. So is that going to be an additive or multiplicative relationship? Because it's a division, it's going to be multiplicative. All right, so that means that we're looking here for that relationship. So let's fill in our formula. We have volume is equal to your base times your height. And we know what the height is. So we have height divided by volume is going to give me my base. All right. So what is that going to look like? That's going to look like base. We know that this is going to be representative of my base. So base is equal to 10. Okay, how's a way that you can check that? You can check that by substituting it back in. And you can say, let's just use that first number. We have volume is equal to 10. That's going to represent the base times 8, and that will give you 80. Okay, so just substitute it back in. That's the way you can check it. All right, so let's look at letter B. It says when the volume of a cardboard box is 220 cubic inches, what is the height? So we're given volume equals volume, and it's asking us what is the height, so that's going to be what we're looking for. That's going to represent our variable. So we have 220 divided by your base. We already know what the base is. It's 10, is going to give me a height of 22 inches. All right, so that is how you substitute in to find volume. You got this. Have a great day.